Hello, creatures of the sea and friends and family as well, of course. Welcome back to another best of 3. Today we're going to be having a look at a best of 3 series played between our good Danish friend, co-worker, MaxPax. And in the bottom left, we have another co-worker of mine, also known as Lambo. He is a Zerg player, so he's not what we call a pure colleague. He works in a different department than I do, but we still respect each other a lot. We have good relations with the other department as well. The worst relationships we tend to have with the Terran department, but let's not get into that too much, as we have a beautiful PvZ here between the best Danish player and perhaps the second or the best European Protoss player, MaxPax. Now, being the best Danish player isn't the greatest, the highest bar, because there's just not that many great Danish players, but there's a lot of good Europeans, and he's an extremely good European Protoss player. Not quite the level of Clem, Raynor or Cyril yet, but I think he's the closest out of anyone to getting there. And his progress shows that he definitely is capable of getting there, perhaps in the near future already. As we see a bit of a fail there out of MaxPax trying to deny his opponent's minerals rather than denying mining of his opponent. He just grabs a mouthful of the tasty blue stuff and starts walking towards the third base location. I never actually saw that. It looks like there's something. Is it like a shiny quality to that diamond or to that mineral? Look at that. Looks purple as well, which is weird because the mineral itself is blue. Maybe someone who studied the way that light interacts with blue minerals can explain that to me. But for now, let's just have a look to see exactly what MaxPax is going to be doing. The man, the myth, the legend. The man known for his bluntness and honest opinions. A young one as well. I think right now I think he recently turned 17 actually, somewhere in July. There's no specific date of birth on his Wikipedia page. It just says born in July. So what I did, because obviously as a close friend of MaxPax, I wanted to congratulate him with his birthday. Just every 3-4 days, I send him a message saying happy birthday, MaxPax. And every single time he tells me it's not my birthday yet. And then at some point he said, you missed my birthday. So now I have a 3 to 4 day window in which his birthday was. And then next year, I'm going to do the same thing there. I'm going to pick 2 days out of those 4 days, congratulate him on his birthday. And then within a couple of years, I should have his exact date of birth. At that point, all I need is his social security and I can take his personality on. So of course, the eventual dream, I can be young again. By the time he'll be 18, 19, entering the prime of his life, and I'll be hitting my 30s, which at that point life is over, as we know. So I'm looking forward to doing that. We see a Void Ray start here for MaxPax. Gonna be sending it towards this Overlord, I assume. It would be weird to ignore it. It's such a low-hanging fruit, you know? You always first take out the low-hanging fruit. The Overlords near your base, the Lynx that are trying to scout things. And then afterwards you go for the higher hanging fruit, which is queens and hatcheries. And then the extremely high hanging fruit would be things like drones. You can't really get that with Void Rays generally, because you don't tend to get too close to mineral lines, and your damage against drones actually kind of sucks. Nice thing against hatcheries that you can use prismatic alignment. You do a crap ton of damage against armored. Void Ray is going to protect this adept, is also going to protect this probe. I actually played a game the other day against a Russian player called B. Okay, and what he did frustrated me so much that I was really close to flaming him, which I hadn't been in a very long time. What he did is he just link flooded my base, which generally isn't that bad, because if the Zerg player invests a lot of drones or a lot of larvae into link flooding, they have way less drones. As we see that this MaxPax Oracle is moving forward. He cancelled my third base, and then he had burrow research. He burrowed a ling underneath it, so I had to use the energy on my Oracle to detect that ling. And then after I detected it, he would run in with another 15 links, cancel my Nexus, burrow another one, which meant that I never got any energy on my Oracle, which made it harder to kill links, which made it easier for him to continue building links. He delayed my Nexus till like 5:50, so it was delayed by almost a minute and like 40 seconds or so. Well, actually longer, almost by a full 2 minutes. The problem for him was though that he didn't really have anything prepared for my ever-growing Void Ray count, so he just lost to my Void Ray counterattack. But I thought to myself, that strategy looks like it might have potential if you know, he would actually have a good transition out of it. I really, really liked it. I even opened up with Void Ray first. I haven't watched that replay yet because I was so frustrated after it, even though I did win, that I just kind of shut off StarCraft and went to do something else. Read a dictionary or something like that. One of my many other hobbies. Lambo here sacrificing a couple of links into the other side of the map. Ooh, look at that. Cheeky scout. Saw the cybernetics course pinging. This Oracle really only has a single job, and that job here is going to be to get some information. It's not necessarily to figure out or to kill a lot of workers. It's just like, hey, I want to know what's happening here. His job is to not die. Now that sounds like an easy task, but if you're fighting the dart throwing queens with their 95 range, and the Oracle is so fast, this is... People often think I'm joking when I say this, but in this type of scenario, having the Oracle be this fast is actually a disadvantage. Because I often click it on the mini-map and I'm like, it won't be there yet, but it's already there and it's being attacked by queens. This is one of the things people don't think about, but sometimes having high speed is a disadvantage. If you can get this Evo chamber, that would be a big deal. State's gonna be going for this queen. We'll get that first queen. And still has, of course, has +1 on those Void Rays. Getting a fort base at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Talking about being focused on economy. You see MaxPax definitely going kind of big here on the eco. What? Huh. This is the first time I've ever seen this. I've seen Tempest rushes with straight Tempest, but Void Ray into Tempest, I haven't seen yet. And the reason I think why MaxPax is doing this is simply because he can deny this base really easily with Tempest. You have a massive range advantage here. You can deny mining. It's difficult to come around with big amounts of units. Lambo, however, doesn't really care about these Tempests, because instead Lambo says, well, it's nice now that you're building Tempest. I'm just going to go attack you with my Roach Ravager Hydra army. This is going to hit really hard. This is a powerful queen wall. This has 9 queens, 16 Hydras, and 6 Ravagers. Ravagers will be able to deal with the cannons and the batteries. Not quite sure if Tempest are going to be good enough here. You're going to need 5 Tempests to one-shot a queen usually. There's only 3 Tempests out right now. There's not a single Disruptor. Even though Disruptors are being pumped out, the first one does pop here. Do we get a good shot? Do we get a good shot? No. We get a fantastic shot, hitting absolutely everything that it could. Battery in the back is healing this frontal cannon as well. We have 5 Hydralisks remaining and about 9 queens. And this, I don't think this push will be able to kill, but it might be able to take out a lot of tropes and maybe even a base here. If it will be able to take out a base here, at the same time we see this Void Ray by itself taking out a base. So where Lambo required an army of 200 supply, MaxPax did with a single Void Ray. 12 workers will go down, but the air army will remain. If this base goes down as well though, oh my god, you have so much money for MaxPax here. You just can't spend it right now, because usually you want to spend this in cannons and probably eventually more gateways, but that's not quite going to be possible. We see the transition coming out of Lambo here with the infestation pit. Wants to be going into a hive. If this base hadn't gone down, that could have been a big deal. On the other hand, I bet these Tempests would have definitely done a number on that base as well. Now we still have a couple of Roaches alive, and these guys don't have any speed upgrades, by the way. They're slow Roaches. And the Roaches is already rather slow in the head. If the Roach now also becomes slow on the ground with low movement speed, that isn't all that great. Even on creep they're slow. Holy crap, what a useless unit. 14 Hydras are out. This base is going to be a sacrificial lamb. I mean, you just can't hold this realistically. Lambo shouldn't even try, because this position is absolutely unholdable. You can't get under any of these air units. I don't even think you should try at this point yet. We see the muscular augments being researched at this point as well, and the frontal fort base being taken here for Lambo, realizing the danger of ever trying to take that gold base. Hive is on the way, and with Hive on the way, Vipers are only a minute and a half away with energy, and at that point this air army will require some type of ground support. But for now, MaxPax will mainly go unchecked. A couple of Hydras are getting sniped, Disruptors moving forward as well. These Queens are trying to dish out a little bit of damage. Another Hydra gets sniped for free here. This is such good damage for free, and I think this fort base is also going to go down. Here comes a big Disruptor shot. It's only going to hit a single Queen. I'm surprised we don't have the Tempest upgrade here, because that would definitely help against all of these buildings. Another Disruptor is here. We do have the speed on the Hydralisk, but I'm not sure if you want to run into your opponent's Disruptors. A single Void Ray went down there, and this Zealot will hopefully also get taken. Now this guy is really ballsy. The only guy on the ground, and he's going, he's tanking these shots head first. Meanwhile, Lambo, I think, got another cancel on the 4th base here as he expands towards the gold base for a 3rd time, I believe. Lost it once to a Void Ray, had to cancel it once against this air army, and now will try for the triple. Here comes the Tectonic Destabilizers. The Tempest upgrade that does a crap ton of damage to buildings. These Void Rays are going to try to hit the main base. I'm going to say try to hit the main base. I mean, they're going to hit the main base. And on Lambo to try and defend. There's 2 queens here. Only a single queen has transfuse available. Now no queens have transfuse available. Now there's no queens at all. Another queen from the naturals coming up. Spawning Pool is gonna get sniped, and that means that Adrenal Glands is going to get denied for now. This queen is also going to fall, and rather than trying to focus down the Hive, MaxPax went for certain damage, and I kind of like that here because I don't think he would have been able to get that Hive. What is the situation in this game right now? Let's take a quick look, okay? Army-wise, I much prefer MaxPax's army. Creep-wise, I think Lambo has not done a poor job knowing how the game went, but in an absolute state, this is not good creep spread. I mean, there's hardly any tumors pushing forward. There's 0 queens right now, so injects nor creep tumors are going to become available anytime soon. Spawning Pool isn't even done yet, so he couldn't even rebuild queens. Second spawning pool is being built in the main base as well. Spire is going down. We have 11 Hydras on the way. I think Lambo is looking at a potential all-in here. I mean, it's really all he can do at this point, I think. MaxPax, on the other hand, probably should start considering getting a couple of Templar to deal with these Vipers, because right now there is no counter whatsoever against these Vipers. What are these Disruptors doing? They're exposing themselves, and I'm not too fond of exposing yourselves to Vipers, or exposing yourself in general. 2 of these Disruptors are going to get taken out. Templar are going to feed back at least 2 of these Vipers. 1 Viper will go down, the other survives with half HP. 11 probes die here on the side of MaxPax. Loses a bunch of his mining, and more importantly, actually feels a little bit economically unstable at this point. Can't really afford a lot of cannons extra, has low amounts of static defense, and the upgrades here for Lambo are improving. Lambo has very nice income because of that gold base that he currently has. Still has 2 of these abducting monsters available. Oh, these shots are not quite going to land whatsoever. Good feedbacks on that single Viper, but there's still 1 Viper that can abduct. The damage output on these Hydras is extremely high. There's only 16 Interceptors remaining at this point, and the rest of this army really doesn't do all that much, at least not quickly. So we mainly see a kiting battle here for MaxPax, who just has to move back to static, but there's almost no static. I think if Lambo knew how little static there was, he might have actually tried pushing in a little bit further. Now the problem for Lambo obviously is the complete lack of queens, which also means that these Vipers are not going to get healed. And if these Vipers are not going to get healed, it means that they'll die when they get hit by the next feedback in the face. And as feedback is an instant cast with a superior range to any of the spells that the Viper has, it's going to just be really difficult for Viperman to get anything done here. And the more energy Viperman will get, the more he exposes himself to the danger of a feedback. Not only his energy, but also his life is vulnerable all of a sudden. This gold base seems to just be a mistake on this map majority of the time, because it's so easy very often for the opponent to get units behind that. That's exactly what we've seen happen. For now, Lambo is mining from his, which is nice. Not for much longer though, if these Vipers continue their destructive consumerism. Lots of parallels being drawn here with the real world. It's almost a dead hatchery. 5 Vipers are out. They need some healing though, huh? Look how slow the actual natural regeneration of these Vipers is. It's like 1 HP every like 4 or 5 seconds or so. It means this Viper is gonna require like 5 more minutes to get full health back. Then gets fed back once and needs to wait another 5 minutes until it can get back into the action. Seems like Lambo is gonna be heading into Ultralisk, Corruptor, Viper, Hydralisk, and ideally he wants to transition out of these Hydralisk, but not by just giving them away for free. He didn't have the grade. Does a lot of Tempest shots on a single Hydra. He didn't have the greatest eco for a long time, but by now he does have a little bit of a bank. Still would be nice though if he can trade this out for something useful. MaxPax is still struggling to get an eco going, and at this point I doubt he even really wants to get an eco going. He has a super massive army, plus 2 upgrades on air. Oh, here come the Ultralisk. Oh, they don't quite have the armor that they require to be very powerful. Single carapace upgrade, they do have chitinous plating. Second carapace upgrade is about to finish up, but these fights are going to go very well here for MaxPax, who with the Tempest burst damage is capable of sniping Ultras extremely quickly as well. We see a couple of Zealots, they do have charge, but they don't have anything else. Not a single attack upgrade. This one is about to finish up though. 10-15 seconds away, Carrier gets abducted. And these Temps are moving forward. Parabomb also dishing out a decent amount of damage on all of these units. MaxPax tries to split, took him a little while, and by the time he finishes splitting, Parabomb also ran out. So not the greatest control there out of the Danish player. Still feel like he is in a pretty decent position here to try and end the game. On the other hand, if Lambo can touch these Templar, perhaps there's potential for him as well in this fight. Tempest dishing out that big damage against these Ultralisks. How many Tempests do we actually have? It's like 5? 5 Tempests. 6 Tempests. Okay, here comes Lambo. Ultralisks moving forward. Corruptors and Vipers being a little bit further in the back, not wanting to die against any potential feedback. Do we have any Storms remaining? The answer is no, but do we really have anything remaining for Lambo here? The answer probably also is no. Not a single Parabomb will go down. GG gets called, and MaxPax wins game number 1 here. In this best of 3 after defending the initial Roach, Hydra, Ravager, Queen push and then struggling going into a longer game. Game number 2 between the Dane and the German player here. We see Lambo's going to be sending out this drone, try and get something done. When I say something, I mean a hatchery. We'll be going for a forward third base here. MaxPax opening up with well, most likely going to be Stargate. I'm feeling it. I'm not sure why I pretended like I already knew what he was gonna do. But MaxPax really has been liking the double Stargate openers. Double Stargate with the fast +1. Going into that quick carrier style. Has been his dream composition. This is a well-timed good luck, have fun. Did Lambo say it yet? Not yet. We'll see if he decides to type it out as well after this timely message from MaxPax. Don't think this is going to be the case. No good luck, have fun. Wow. Wow. No second gas yet here either. Makes sense, because he first wants to get a Cybercore. Actually, really, yeah, it's very funny to watch MaxPax play, because he tends to really get into a single build order for a while, and then he'll swap out of it. And then once he gets desperate, I think that's when he is the most dangerous, is because then he'll start rotating between all of the builds that he liked for the past 2-3 months, which is a lot of different builds, because he tends to swap over from build to build very rapidly and in a very extreme fashion as well. And when he mixes it up like a madman, I think that's when he's absolutely the most dangerous. The only problem is that, yeah, it's very weird in StarCraft 2, where if you feel like you have a really good build that is really solid, you just want to play it all the time because you're so happy with it, right? The problem with that is that you can start getting abused. But do you really want to play a build that is a lot worse but might give you slightly better results just because it's mixed up? Like, it feels very, very difficult to make the judgment on what is good and what is good to mix up. Like, when is it good to mix it up? When is it good to not mix it up? And very often when you are mixing it up and you lose, and you go like, well, if I just would have played my standard build, I would have won. You revert back to your old build. But then again, if you play against people that only know one build, it's always very comfortable because you know exactly what they're going to be doing. So preparation is easy. So yeah, different tournaments with different formats often require different type of mindsets on build order usage. But it is quite a tricky balance to strike there. And we've seen examples of people being extremely successful with playing a single build or a single philosophy, mainly Zerg players, Serral, Raynor, not necessarily single builds, but very reactive and not so much being extremely volatile in their build order choices. just being very solid. And we've also seen a lot of people who, because of their volatility and their ability to play so many different things, have gotten great results. Think of, especially back in the days, people like MC, I want to say Squirtle, maybe even, can I think of some Terran? I guess MVP was very volatile as well back in the day. But you also had examples of people that just really like playing extremely solid and got good results that way. I always think there's some value in mixing it up, but maybe small variations on the same theme is the best way to go at this moment in time. We see a Void Ray opener once again out of MaxPax, an Oracle coming out, and immediately we'll be heading into that air weapons level 1 upgrade. See the next Void Ray coming out as well before the next Stargate, and this is the preferred way to do it for me as well. A lot of the Koreans prefer getting a second Stargate before getting a second Void Ray, but I actually believe that to be inefficient. Ooh, he's gonna go Forge before second Stargate as well. This is kind of interesting. I like this opener a lot, actually. I like what we're seeing here out of MaxPax. I have to admit it. Second Stargate is going down now. This is most likely going to slightly delay the third Void Ray. And that's completely fine. Battery will go down, and a little bit of a supply block actually out of MaxPax. That's sloppy. That's actually really sloppy. Because this is going to cut a bit in his worker count. It's going to cost him 2... maybe even 2.5, 3 workers here. It's nice that you kill some workers on the other side of the map, but if you're getting supply blocked on your own side of the map, it's not quite worth it. This is a... what? 510 gases here on the third base. And we see Lambo rushing into Hydra Bane. Lambo is going to be going for the 740 Hydra Bane Queen push that we've seen a lot out of him back in the day. We haven't seen it in a while. There's no Evo Chamber with this time around, though. I know he used to like to do this with +1 range attack. He's not going to be able to get that. So instead, rather than seeing a 74, 75 worker attack, we might just be seeing a 66, 67 worker attack. We don't have a fort base yet. We do see a drone. No, it's actually just going to be going into the natural. Yeah, I think this is going to be a lower drone count attack. Perhaps still with Baneling speed. 6 Overlords are on the way. Let's see. What are we getting here, Lambo? This should hit around 710, no? 705, 710 maybe? I don't think it's going to be with Baneling speed, actually. It's just going to be pure Hydra, and then you reinforce with Lynx and get a couple of Banelings in as well to bust the cannons down. Curious to see if this is going to work this time around. We have a third Stargate on the way, as well as a fleet beacon and, well, a couple extra Void Rays. Right now we're on 4 Void Rays. And these queens are suspiciously far in the front, and 7 of them. It wouldn't surprise me if MaxPax decides to throw down a couple of extra cannons after seeing all those queens so far forward. He has 2 cannons already. Maybe 1 more battery could do the trick. There's no fort base, which is of course a pretty decently sized deal. Tempest are being built right now as well. So once again, Tempest will be the response to any type of Queen Walk, which is what we're seeing here. We have a cannon, a battery, a robotics facility coming down, another battery. Is there money for more cannons? And the answer really is no. 17 Banelings are on the way. So we have muscular augments being researched after the range upgrade for the Hydra already has finished up. This is 25 Banelings, 8 queens and 18 Hydralisks. This is a huge army, and I don't really think MaxPax has what it takes here to stop this. Good first force field will stop a lot of these Banelings from moving straight into the cannons, but what else really is there? Tempest now is coming out as well. Battery in the back will remain alive. The next Banelings need to start pushing forward right now. This battery in the back is really healing a lot on those Void Rays. Pylons in the back also providing some coverage for that battery. Battery will now go down. Tempest in the natural, dishing out decent amount of damage. This is so good for Lambo, honestly. This is just so freaking good for Lambo. 18, 20. Yeah, all of these works are going to go down. This base is going to go down as well. The only question that remains on my mind right now is, does Lambo have enough at home? Well, he can just walk home with the Hydralisk, throw down an infestation pit, and most likely go into whatever he wants, no? I think so. 3 more Tempest are on the way here, and I don't think you should be going into the natural here, Lambo. I think we should be heading back home, and that's exactly what Lambo will decide to do here. Starts walking home, right? Just go into your infestation pit here, buddy. His queens are gonna go down. It's a little bit sloppy. and a little bit expensive as well. We have a single Oracle on the other side of the map, sees the second Evo chamber, probably thinks that's the first one, and sees an infestation pit go down. These Void Rays might be able to snipe a fort base, which would be a big deal. This is why... No, just go home, Lambo. You don't need to be here anymore. You can be at home, enjoying your day already. This actually is really painful, because there's a lot of workers, but there's not a whole lot of bases. This base isn't done yet, so we're gonna have, what, 25, maybe even 30 drones long distance mining at this point. 2 Void Rays will be heading towards the bottom right side to potentially cancel this base again in the future. There's a lot of creep spread though out of Lambo here. Robo base coming down as well. MaxPax is hanging in here, but I mean, yeah, barely hanging in here. Not quite sure if Lambo... No, I can cancel these cannons at least. That's a nice start. A couple of Void Rays might go down. No, instead we'll just see the Hydras get taken out by these Tempest. And Lambo now really is going in full macro mode. Only 47 workers here for MaxPax, who's sending a single Tempest out towards the left side to do some drone harass perhaps. This thing... What is this guy? What is this guy doing? Oh, it's dying, that's what he's doing. A brave soldier with minerals in his mouth gets taken out. 4 infestors on the way, 1-1 upgrades for Lambo. +2 has finished already for our Danish friend, and we'll be able to take out a couple of workers here. We'll see if Lambo is going to be ready for that. I don't think so, but with Hive almost done, I guess he can just respond with a Viper or something like that. Just need to be careful with this Tempest as well, not the highest amount of HP. Is he now capable of 2-shotting Hydras? I think so, right? Yeah. With +2, I think you can. This army is looking pretty huge, by the way. Like, this looks really bad for MaxPax, but he didn't lose a lot of his assets. Like, he lost a lot of his bases and his eco, but the expensive gas units he didn't lose yet. And Lambo's also investing a lot into the future, and I have this weird feeling that there will be almost no future. Like, I think short-term investments are going to almost for sure be the answer. And I'm thinking of Vipers, I'm thinking of units that shoot up, basically. Vipers and units that shoot up should be able to kind of seal the deal here. As I mean, you're on 5 base already. All you need to do is survive for now and take one decent enough fight where you can trade. Getting all of those Burrow, Triple Evo, Ultralisk Cavern. I understand it, but I think it might be a little bit too much. Here come the Infestors, looking to get some damage done. Ultralisk Cavern also looking to get something here. Still not a single Viper on the map, which is the most surprising thing. Disruptor hit. Well, there's 19 Hydralisk, but there actually is a lot of units that can kill the Hydraliskers. Seeing Disruptors. 2 drones are going to be going down. Well, is it going to go down? I don't think so. No. We'll stay alive for now. I actually don't think Lambo should be attacking into this. I really don't think so. I don't think there's any use attacking into this. I just don't see it. 6 gateways on the way here for MaxPax, who's just gonna... His plan is just to move out, to max out and then to move out. I just don't understand why the Vipers are so late. 14 kills on this Tempest by now. This other Tempest also has 11 kills. Recall will not be used here. It will be used instead on the other Tempest and will survive. This fort base might be the one that potentially gets taken here for MaxPax, but I don't think Lambo will allow that. Lambo sees it and says, no, I will not allow it. No forward spore wall either, though. It's something you could consider. I just don't like Lambo's army very much. These Hydra-based armies really tend to suck if there is any type of splash damage. This is a very ground-based army. Vipers will need to come in clutch. We're most likely going to be seeing some Microbial Shroud usage and a couple of Viper Abducts being used as well here out of Lambo. Creep spread is good, but it's only kind of single lane-ish. I mean, this just looks fantastic for Lambo. Trying to attack into this is an interesting decision, and a couple of these disruptors. Where's the Vipers? Vipers are too far in the back, will not be able to do much of anything. No Microbial is being used yet either, and Actually, it's not being used on any of the units that need to stay alive. Another disruptor absolutely hits everything, and this trade was fantastic here for MaxPax. It really was. A lot of the expensive units for Lambo have gone down, but some of the spellcasters, especially the Viper staying alive, is a semi-big deal. 19 Corruptors now is going to be the response here, and we finally have an army that Lambo is going to feel a little bit more comfortable with. But that was kind of expensive, and we're still only a single fight away from really having a big sweeping victory here for MaxPax, who is not yet on +3 attack, but has a lot of different tools for splashing units. What are the upgrades actually on these air units? We have +1 Carapace. Are you working single? No, we're working double Spire, but no upgrades on the second Spire yet. It seems like the investment into the future really did pay off for Lambo though. MaxPax now starts moving out bit by bit, slowly but surely. I wonder if MaxPax can actually win a fight. It seems possible. All he needs to do is get these Corruptors or these Vipers out. If you can take out Vipers before they cast anything big here, big Disruptor shots. Once again, the Vipers not paying a lot of attention. Couple of decent Storms going down here as well. I actually think this fight is really good for MaxPax. He still has a lot more army supply here. Carriers stay alive. It's 10 carriers. Yeah, this is a win. This is a win. This absolutely is a win here for MaxPax. There's not enough money for Lambo to rebuild the Corruptor count. MaxPax with a 3-base economy just absolutely destroys these fights. As a Disruptor hit after big hit, the Templar have a free game every single time as well, and will be able to clean up. And now there's a massive air army left. This game isn't necessarily over yet. There's still going to be about 27 Corruptors out, but there's also 10 carriers. Oh, 3 of these Corruptors are going to get taken out for basically free, and I think that MaxPax even is going to be finding a couple more before the fight truly starts, and all of the Interceptors are out. If the Interceptors wouldn't have been out, this could have been a very different game. Good target fire here out of MaxPax, and all of these Corruptors will fall before even 2 carriers go down. Flyer attacks level 1 completes after the fight is over. GG gets called, and MaxPax wins the series 2-0.